welcome back to my channel. Now, this is video number 3 and we are going to be talking today about the new measures that are being put in place by the airlines. This video is going to be focused specifically on British Airways and Virgin Atlantic and what the two of them are doing to get us back in the air flying safely, as well as the things that they're doing slightly differently. This video will be broken down into 6 clear sections to give you an idea of the new measures that the airlines are putting in place. They're going to be broken down into at the airport, on board, security, cleaning, food, and at your seat, because all of these have new measures that have been put in place. Now, before we go any further, I do need to issue a disclaimer. The Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the FCO, still advise against all but non-essential travel. But as the airlines are encouraging you to start looking at booking your flights, even Virgin have sent out emails saying that they are going to be flying from the 20th of July to new destinations. I thought it'd be a good idea to break these new procedures down for you. So the first one we are going to be talking about is at the airport, and if I keep looking down, it's because I've made lots and lots of notes to help people on their journey, because even though it's split very clearly, there is a lot of information for you to take in. Now, at the airport, this is based on Heathrow in London, because that is my closest airport and that is the one that I'm going to be focusing on. Heathrow have changed all flights and they are only flying from Terminal 2 and Terminal 5. Now, Virgin used to fly from Terminal 3, but for this pandemic they have been moved to Terminal 2. Heathrow have said that all passengers over the age of 6 must wear a mask, and they are available for free at the airport, but they do encourage you to wear your own. Both British Airways and Virgin staff will be wearing masks at the airport because that is the new rule. Now, both British Airways and Virgin have advertised that they have stepped up their cleaning regime of all the surfaces that you touch, and that includes your self-service kiosks and the normal check-in kiosks and the bag drop counters. British Airways are actively encouraging you to check in online, so you only have to go through bag drop and you don't have to use the self-service machines because they're telling you to use your mobile boarding pass. Now, I do like a mobile boarding pass, but I have to admit I am a fan of getting one printed purely because of battery life on phones, and you never know if something's going to go wrong with your phone at the very last minute. Now, there is slight discrepancy between what British Airways are telling you and what Virgin are telling you about when you should arrive at the airport. British Airways have maintained that you should only arrive at the airport 2 hours early for a short haul flight and 3 hours early for a long haul flight. That is also what Heathrow have stated on their website. It may be different for other airports, you will have to check. However, Virgin have stated that you should allow yourself some extra time to journey through the airport. So it will be up to you of when you decide you should get to the airport and how much time you think you will need. Heathrow Airport are also operating temperature screening checks. Now, these are new special checks that they have introduced. They're to do with thermal cameras, and they are being trialled on some departures at T5, a very small number of departures at T5 and some arrivals at Terminal 2. Virgin have stated that there will be or could be extra health checks at the airport, and that includes having your temperature taken, most likely with a contact-free thermometer. Now, the bit that we all love at the airport, security. Now, security is controlled by the airport. The airlines have no say over this. However, they have both included some extra facts on their website about what the airports will or should be doing to enhance cleaning and bacteria germ control. They have stated that the trays that we use will be wiped down, staff will be wearing gloves when they touch your possessions, and they should be wearing gloves if they pat you down anyway. That's been my experience. They've always worn gloves when they have done that in the first place. Okay, we're now going to talk about boarding the aircraft. Both Virgin and British Airways have introduced new boarding protocols, and that involves boarding the flight back to front. Now, this is something I'm actually a fan of, and I think it should be kept post-coronavirus, because it's always a hassle trying to shove past everybody if you are unfortunately sitting at the very back of the aircraft. But I sometimes like being back at the back of the aircraft just because I feel like, especially if you're in economy, you don't feel as trapped with all the people sitting in the middle. However, you will now be asked to hold your own passport, and this is where you need to take off your mask that you should have been wearing around the airport. You'll also be responsible for scanning your own boarding pass, which is obviously different to what has happened in the past. Priority boarding has also changed somewhat as well. British Airways state that families and people who need additional time still have access to priority boarding. It does not mention that if you have status with their Oneworld or any other airlines, that you will be able to get priority boarding. Virgin also state that only customers who need additional time will be allowed to use priority boarding. So if you feel like you need to use priority boarding, I would suggest you contact the special assistance teams from either airline or whatever airline you're flying with. Remember, these checks are being put in place on Virgin and British Airways, but they will most likely be very, very similar across all of the network and all of the flights, all of the airlines that you will be using. One of the key things the airlines have been advertising is the increased cleaning that they are doing on board the aircraft. Now, both Virgin and British Airways have the HEPA filters installed on their aeroplanes. They are filters that kill 99.9% of germs, or as Virgin advertises, 99.999% of germs and bacteria in the air. They are still asking you to wear face masks on board though. Only main difference between the cleaning of British Airways and Virgin is that Virgin are doing something called electrostatic spraying, which they've also called fogging, and this is being done before every flight, and this means they are spraying antibacterial spray, cleaning spray that is going to be able to reach every single surface, so no surface will be left untouched. Both airlines have said that they are going to be cleaning your armrest, your seat buckle, your tray table, your the window round the plane. Anywhere that you will touch in your seat, both have stated that they will be cleaning, which is very good news. Now, you may be wondering what changes are being introduced when you are actually on board the aircraft for your flight, because after all, that is the most important thing. What are the changes that are on board your flight? Obviously, one of the main changes is that everybody over the age of 6 needs to be wearing a mask. British Airways doesn't state that anyone that perhaps has medical reasons for not wearing a mask can essentially get out of it, but I would contact their special assistance teams. Virgin does state on their website that if you have medical reasons for not wearing a mask, then you do need to contact their special assistance teams. One thing I am very impressed about that Virgin have introduced is what they've called their health pack. Now, this health pack is going to include masks, surface wipes and hand gel. This means if you are flying Virgin, you only need to bring enough masks to see you through your time at the airport, and you can get these masks at the airport for free. So in theory, you don't actually need to buy a mask if you are flying with Virgin from Heathrow. However, British Airways has had no mention of providing this type of service on board. It does state that masks only last around 4 hours if you're wearing the sort of more medical grade ones, and you should bring enough masks for your entire flight. This suggests to me that they are not going to be providing the masks on board. That doesn't mean they might not have a small supply of them, but bring enough masks for your whole flight if you are flying British Airways. Both airlines have also stated that there will be reduced movement around the cabin. So unfortunately, if you are on a long haul flight and you enjoy going for a walk around the cabin, you will not be able to do this. I, for one, like to try and get through as many films as I can, so I don't actually get up too much. But the main thing for this is that you will not be allowed to queue for the toilets anymore. Now, you might be thinking, well, how will I know when I can go to the toilet? Look for the green and red occupied, not occupied signs above the toilets, okay? I only noticed these on a flight a few years ago because I'd never paid that much attention to it because I'd just get up and queue. But you will be asked to wait until it is lit green for you to be able to get up out of your seat and go to the toilet. Virgin have also stated that they will be trying to introduce spacing measures on board. That means if you are on separate tickets or if you're traveling on your own, then they will try to sit you away from other passengers. That may mean that there is just the middle seat free in between you and another passenger. British Airways have made no mention of this, but I imagine it is something that they are also going to be trying to do. It does mean, however, that if you are flying on the same ticket and you are from the same household, you probably can still sit together, but you will have to check once again with special assistance to see if this is the case. And one more further thing for life on board, both airlines have removed their newspapers and magazines from their aircrafts. British Airways will have no High Life shop open. That means no shopping on board. Virgin have also introduced this, but they have made their duty-free products available through their website for you to pre-order before your flight. So if you do like getting your duty-free on your plane, you still can do this on Virgin. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is food and what food is available on board. Now, I am one of those people that really enjoys aeroplane food, and unfortunately you will not be able to get this at the moment. Aeroplane food is gone as we see it. Both airlines have introduced new food that is essentially reduced contact with crew. Crew will not have to sort of prepare this food as much as they have done in the past. What this means though is that first and business class will not get the club menu for British Airways, and Virgin haven't made any explicit mention of no food service, no upgraded food service for premium and first, but I would assume that they have also cancelled this service in favour of a contact reducing food option. Neither airline has stated what this is. British Airways have stated that there will be no special meal. So if you have allergies or you have a food intolerance, you are encouraged and essentially told to bring your own food. They will not be providing food for people with allergies or special dietary requirements. The only food that will be available is a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian option. Virgin have also stated that they will be introducing a lighter food menu. They have not stated what special options there will be or if there will be special options. For a British Airways short haul flight, you traditionally have to buy your food, and it is one of my favourites because it is Marks and Spencer's food, so it is a higher quality, but there is now no food to buy on board. Instead, you are actually being offered a complimentary light refreshment, which is actually more than you get usually when you fly with British Airways on a short haul flight. There will also be hot drinks and water available. It does not mention that there will be any soft drinks available on your short haul flight. For your long haul flight, it states that there will be light refreshment, but the change is that there will be hot drinks and soft drinks available for your long haul flight. Virgin have stated that on their flights you will be getting one main meal with orange juices or juices and soft drinks. They haven't made any mention of hot drinks being available, so just keep that in mind. There may be no hot drinks on a Virgin Atlantic flight. British Airways have stated though that the crew will still be able to warm baby bottles if you need that service. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you have found it informative. I, for one, can't wait to get back in the air flying. And I'm also intrigued to fly during the pandemic. I know that may seem like a weird thing to say, but I'm just curious about how all of these changes will play out on board and if you get a better or more reduced experience. Personally, I'm not looking forward to the food changes just because I'm a little bit of a fussy eater and I don't particularly like many sandwich options that you usually get on board. So if the food is sandwiches, I'll probably be a bit upset about that. Now, just remember, at the airport, I know that Heathrow have stated that only Boots and WH Smiths were open or are currently open at this time. That means that any food you buy will have to be from Boots or WH Smiths. There are no restaurants open at the moment, so keep that in mind if you do have dietary requirements. You can bring food through security, but obviously your drink situation is the same. You are still limited to 100ml bottles up to the total value of 1 litre. So keep that in mind when you're flying about what food you want to bring. I've already thought about when I eventually get to fly, I'll probably just take my own snacks on board just in case I don't like the food, because unfortunately there is no point in complaining about the food because the crew can't do anything about it. The airlines are trying to still provide a service for you on board, which is better than not flying at all, in my opinion. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you like and subscribe the video, and I will be doing more videos on travel during the coronavirus, during the pandemic, in the coming days and weeks. The next video that I'm going to do is about the more budget airline options, what perhaps EasyJet and Ryanair are going to be introducing on their flights, because EasyJet have so far announced that they want to get people flying again for their summer holidays. So have a fantastic weekend and I will see you in my next video.